Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Raging Hot Mics podcast. I'm your host, Chika, and today we'll be talking about a disturbing and unpleasant video on social media. Today, 15th of November 2025. I woke up to a video on both Instagram and Facebook about three young girls, three of them, and they were crying. They were kicked out of their parents' house. They are orphans, and then three female orphans. So, and the report has it. It was a video, and their neighbors were making the video, and that tells you the power of social media. Because if not for social media, so many things that have been happening we would not be aware of. So, their neighbor was making a video and calling on all the authorities and people to come to the aid of these girls. These girls are orphans and their father was kidnapped. Sadly, their father was kidnapped in June. He was kidnapped in June and he's yet to be found till date. And they've declared him dead. So he's untraceable. He was kidnapped since 2015. He's yet to be found and they've declared him dead. I think their mother died a long time ago. And then the youngest of these girls is 16-year-old, and you could see them crying and begging. And not what makes it so sad is not just that they were kicked out, but they were kicked out with court order and with armed men from the civil defense department or corps, and then with the court order. And in what is the context of that? The context is that their uncle, their paternal uncle, that their father's brother, sold this house without their consent, and he sold it to one Mister. I think He sold it to one Mister Mike Galadima without their consent. So you can imagine selling your brother's house, not your house, not your house you built with your brother. Even if for anything, those kids are his next of kin. Those kids are meant to inherit his property. But right now, the brother sold the house the girls were living in. They were occupying that house. They were living in that house. I don't know if he came to the aid of those girls who are orphan and who fend for themselves, but he went ahead to sell the house to one Mr. Mike Galadima. And then Mr. Mike purchased the house without due diligence and due process, because there's no how you can sell the house without those girls' consent. It has to be those girls selling the house. Mr. Mike Galadima purchased the house. Now, where I'm confused is how the court comes in. Is it that the court doesn't know that the girls did not co-sign or did not agree to the selling of the house? I don't know how it happened. I don't know. I didn't see what was in the court. So I don't know. It was alleged. So now and this is happening in Nasarawa, Lafia. This is happening in Lafia, Nasarawa, where in 2025, where you still have brothers and siblings of the extended family of the man of the from the paternal side inheriting property when the kids are alive, and this is as a result of customary laws taking precedence over the Supreme Court or the Constitution of Nigeria. I involve the Supreme Court because times and again, Supreme Court has ruled that is illegal. Supreme Court has ruled that it cannot happen because now you realize that those customary laws existed before the Nigerian Constitution. Yeah, it existed. So maybe back in the day, you had siblings inheriting brothers' property, and it's made worse according to maybe their custom. I don't know which tribe they are. Are they Egun or what? I don't know what tribe they are in National, because National has a lot of tribes inside. So I don't know their own customary, but I'm just using the regular Nigerian and average Nigerian law, where somehow, ugly enough, is deemed that if you don't have a male child. Like it's deemed that you've not done enough if you don't have a male child. So female children don't inherit their father's property. Female children are excluded from their father's inheritance and all those. It's ugly, but it is the way it is. And that is why the Nigerian Constitution comes to the aid of people and comes to answers all these questions. So now they are still practicing the customary laws or whatever, right, in this modern time. And that is why maybe the community, because You had it was the neighbors who made the video. It wasn't even the girls. The girls were so distressed. They were so like emotionally depressed. They were down. You could see them. They even didn't pay much attention to the video. It was the neighbors who were more coherent, who were more emotionally balanced, that were making the video. So now you still have communities, and this is happening in Lafia, and Lafia is the capital of Nasarawa State. And I bet you Lafia is not far from Abuja. I think it won't be more than 3 hours. I don't think it's like 4 hours. I don't think it's that far, because I know you have some communities that are closer. I think Suleja, that's Niger State. There are some Nasarawa communities that are closer to Abuja than Lafia, but I don't think Lafia are more than 3 hours, maybe 3 hours, 30 minutes. So, and this is where it's happening. So we don't know what has happened also. We don't know the number of times events like this has happened before. And the name of the man is late Karma Mathias. This man was a former prison service employer. So he was working for the prison service. So for more context, the name of the man is late Karma Mathias. So now you see that statistically it's ugly, because you might think this is a one-off. No, it's not a one-off. It happens so many times. Although maybe I could say right now, when you bring it up, you see people standing up for some of the when I mean bring it up, not in the community. I mean when you bring it up, maybe in social media and all those things. Right now, you see more people standing up for the victim, or for the dispossessed people. But back then, maybe it wasn't the case. But it still happens so many times. Okay, let me shock you. Do you know that statistically, only 13% of widows, I'm talking about widows, I'm not talking about kids, I'm not talking about children, I'm talking about widows, because even widows makes it even easier than kids. So only 30%, widows inherit less than 30% of inheritance from their spouse or from their partners. Let's say from their partners, less than 30%. So that means the rest 70 plus percent is inherited by the husband, or by the man's family. And so many of the time, sometimes it's the widows who build this wealth. You never know what happens inside the family. You don't know the contribution that they've done. And also, I don't understand that, because even the Bible says what the two shall become one. When a man marries a wife, he moves and they become one. So I don't understand this concept of having, not even the Bible. I don't know much about the Quran, but I don't think the Quran is going to encourage something like that. It cannot. There's no how any, maybe customary, but that was then, and even that is ugly. I don't want to go into then and now, which is better or something like that, because there are some events that are better then than it is now. Yeah, there's so many of them. Yeah, but this very one is ugly, and it shouldn't be encouraged. It should, there is reason to really call it out the way it is. It should never be encouraged. You have the daughters of late Karma Mathias calling out for help for their uncle to have sold their father's house. That is criminal. Not only should the houses be given back to them, but that uncle should be tried in court. He should be sued. I won't say he's guilty. I won't say he should be jailed, because you can't be the prosecutor, be the judge, and be the jury. But he should be sued for that, because not only did he dispossess these girls, but it's criminal, because this property doesn't belong to him. It's a house built by their father, Mr. Karma Mathias. So how did he get the documents? I don't know. Did he sell it without the document? Anything can happen. And also, Mr. Mike Galadima, I also understand that there is no how he must have done his duty. He must have asked some questions, which, because I remember back when I was growing up back home, I used to listen to, or be where my father or some of his friends we are trying to possess or buy house or buy landed properties. And one of the requirements they always say, I didn't understand it back then, was whenever they want to buy land from somebody, they always insisted that the man, his wives or his wife and his kids are present. It didn't make sense to me back then. I remember they will never buy land from anybody that his kids and children are not there. Never. It can never happen. You have to call all your kids. If your child is in Lagos, like some of them are, you have to bring them home. They have to be there while they are buying the land. And I was, why? Like, why? He said, because you can end up buying this land from this man. And when the man dies, or when the man is nowhere to be found, the kids will say that you are lying. So they have to be present. And not only does the man sign, this is the property of the man, but the kids have to sign. It's made compulsory, like three or two of the kids have to sign, and his wife have to sign. So they have to know that the man is selling his, and this is the law just says the property belongs to the man to have to sell. But they are doing due diligence that the kids have to sign. So I don't understand how Mr. Mike Galadima buys a house that belongs to the brother of a deceased man or a man that is missing. It's not just that his brother is missing, they've not found his brother. He was kidnapped. And that is why sometimes when people in the middle, in the North Central, or Christians in the North, or not really Christians, but most people in the North complain about insecurity in the Nigeria. We back in the South, we just, oh no, Nigeria is, no. There's so much insecurity. When I mean insecurity, it's easier said than done. That's why no matter what you feel, you have to ask those who are living it back in North Central or not in Northeast. It is bad. So now, also, according to the Nigerian Constitution, Section 42 of the 1999 Constitution, it says that it guarantees the right to inheritance and protection from discrimination to every individual. It guarantees the right to dignity and protection from discrimination. So this clearly is discrimination. This clearly is discrimination because they are being discriminated against their father's property. They are being discriminated, like they are being cut off because it clearly belongs to them. If the father is, except the father have said in his will, he's giving it to, which I don't even think he had a will. So maybe that makes it more difficult, but it makes it more difficult because of maybe the infighting within the kids, right? But this has nothing to do with the extended family. This has entirely nothing to do with extended family. This is pure wickedness. This young, in order to make an example of practices like this uncle of theirs should be named and he should be sued. He should be sued and he should pay damages to those little girls because this is the best you could do to your brother's children, to your brother, is to take away the property that belongs to him, the house he suffered, he built, is to take it away and sell it to make quick money. I don't know how people think. It's just callous. It's really callous, and everybody out there should make. Everybody out there should allow this. Everybody out there should make sure that justice is brought to these young girls. At this very at this very moment where they are yet to find their father, where their father is still missing, where they are mourning their mother, they are all left alone. The youngest of this girl, of these girls, is 16-year-old. She's 16. And instead of facing life, instead of thinking about her daily bread, instead of thinking about the loss of her parents, it's even extremely I've not been in that situation, but according to people who've been in that situation, according to psychologists, it is even easier to know that somebody is dead than to be in a dilemma where they are missing. That is why, if you know very very well, back in Western world, to ensure closure before even justice, they have to make sure that they find. That's why they go they I won't say waste resources, but they use so much resources to make sure that they find the missing person, even if it's dead, because it ensures some closure for the grieving family. If there's a closure that comes, that this is what happened to him, this is it, then you can now seek justice. Because you see them before charging the individual, they make sure they see the body of the person. This man is still missing, and the best thing his brother could do is to sell his property. I'm not here to say he's involved in the missing of the brother or whatever, but if in cases like this, you can see the authorities start suspecting what really happened to him. Because one of the smoking guns where authorities is who has the intent, what is the intent, who has something to gain from this and this. So that is why when something happens to an individual, they start getting, apart from who he had problems with, he had issues with, they start looking for who has something to gain. That is when they start looking at his insurance. I'm talking of in Western world, where parents have like 100,000, more than 2 million insurance on them, or partners have 300,000, 500,000, and that is a motive. They start looking for the motive. Is the motive to gain? So when a brother does this to his brother, where the brother is missing and then he sells his property, there's I think it's time to start asking questions. Is there is it is the missing The reason the brother is missing, is it because he wants to sell this land? He might be innocent, but that's left to the judge and the court to do so. So minors are weakest. The widows are even more powerful than the minors. It is extremely bad. And then, in order to put a stop to this, the individual should be able to access key departments that help them bring justice. And one of them is the public Office of the Public Defender, OPD, and the National Human Rights Commission. So people like these are the agencies that are meant. I use the word meant. I don't know how successful they fight or what. I think they should be doing a good. They should be doing a good job because I don't know. But these are the sort of offices that every day they walk into the office, they clock in and they want to do their best to get justice for this set of people. So right here, right now, I would like us to make it a point today that justice should be the family of late Karma Mathias should get justice. The eviction of these kids from their parents' house is despicable and he must be discouraged. We call upon the Office of the Public Defender and then the National Human Rights Commission to look into this and then make sure that their uncle and Mr. Mike Galadima are brought to book and justice served. Thank you. Join us next time. Have a good day, you all.